It was a long process, and we were shooting for 3 years, following the guy. They were following also another torero, but then we realized that this one, or I realized that I knew that this one will be the best one because it's the number one now in Spain. So it's more interesting also because of that, but also because he's more mysterious. You know, I never, I was with him and I was following, but even now I don't understand him. So, or I don't catch how he is, or what is the purpose of, this commitment, this craziness, where it comes from. If he's, I don't know, a shy guy, it looks like sometimes shy even with us, but sometimes he looks like a killer, sometimes he looks like a manipulative guy, sometimes he looks like an innocent guy. So still nowadays I don't know how he is and what are the motivations behind. So for me this was something quite intriguing in his case, and also he's extremely photogenic. Photogenic in a wider sense, spiritually, because of this mystery. So I don't know, there was a lot of layers there that push that there could be something interesting. And we follow. It's the first film in my life where I have been checking images before the end of the shooting. In all fiction films, I have never checked any image. But here, because it was technically difficult to shoot. So in general, I hate this idea of progressive knowledge. And for me, every fiction film, every moment, it's like a fatality. And there is no progressive. It's a performance every second. But here, we had to learn. We had to learn how to shoot it and what was interesting of what we were shooting and which was the best, approach from the, plastic point of view, the frame, the composition of the shots, the sound, which characters were more interesting. In fact, this film, it's just possible now because especially because of all the dialogues, I discovered it in the edit. I never heard any dialogue before the end of the shooting. And it was only possible now because they had the transmitter that now it's a USB and it can last for 5-6 hours. 3 years ago, there were still batteries and you could have never done this film, or at least the dialogues of this film. So I don't know, everything went on the right side by chance a little bit. And these people were amazing because I was shooting another torero that is also a star, but himself, I don't know, was not that interesting. And the people around, the assistants, they were much more boring. These ones are amazing.
Yeah, it's like a hype crew.
Pablo Aguado. That as a torero, it's good. Maybe, I don't know, because everything depends on which day you are there. I cannot follow them for, and at the end I did 14 corridas. With him, I think I did 8 or 9. But
was he consistent throughout? Did he behave the same way in each fight, or were there differences between? Because obviously it's edited together from multiple corridas.
Both, you mean?
Just under.
Of course, we learn how to do it. But there was something interesting is that it was more interesting when he was in the main arenas, that it's Madrid and Seville, that there is a lot of pressure, and when there is pressure, it's better. Because the intensity of the image and the craziness, and they are really, really scared, especially him. Even if he doesn't look like, because he looks quite cold-blooded, but, we were seeing the difference of the important days or the not important days, because the toro is more dangerous, it's bigger, more dangerous, the pressure, of course, of the quality of the judgment of the audience, you cannot compare. So these days, and for this reason, for example, they are in the van and the camera is there and they didn't give a shit about the camera or anything. And even after, 1 hour after there is one guy there that is crying, and it's 1 hour because they went to the clinic and they stayed there for 1 hour inside the arena. So, and then he's still crying. So they don't give a shit about the camera in the room or anywhere.
Or in the arena. They're zoned in. He has to perform when he doesn't care about the camera.
Yes, because they are under a lot of pressure, even after the corrida. I don't know, it's something physical. And this confirmed my theory of fiction. I was using fiction, and I always thought that you have to put the actors on pressure, under high pressure. The higher the pressure, the more intensity the images, and probably the more exciting on the final result. And here this confirmed me, because if not, it's impossible that they are there in the van, and of course here they say the best thing, tolerable things, but they have extremely outrageous dialogues. You know, it's already something in the arena and in the band, but I have much more that I cannot put because, you know, I owe them so much that they cannot. This was a moral conflict in the end, you know, because for me.
So the moral conflict was more about how you dealt with the bullfighter than with the bulls.
No, a little bit, because of course they didn't like the film.
The bullfighters.
Well, the other one, the assistant hasn't seen it, but the main bullfighter, Andres, and the other people, the manager, and they didn't like. They hate the film.
Why?
Well, he hated the film. He hated the film, and the other ones, but because they said it was too violent. Yes, for me it was a paradox because it's what they do. But of course we have to put in a context that now, you know, it's a practice that it's being banned somewhere, you know, in Mexico and some places in Spain. So there is a social controversy about it. So they thought that it will give a bad image of the bullfighting. And I was there, and I didn't know what to do, because without a little bit of the violence you see here, this is what makes the transcendence of everything. Without the death, this will be like the Cirque du Soleil. But this is not the Cirque du Soleil. I mean, it's something different. But I need these shots. And of course, I had much more violent shots that I didn't use. But I think that here was on the right level to keep the transcendence, to understand, you know, what does it mean, the corrida, and what can, you know, why do they do it, and why this ritual exists, and why it's about death and life, and, you know, that teaches especially the commitment, of course, how do you say, the courage, no? The
courage.
Yeah. Also, well, there are no shortcuts, you know. You cannot, when you are there, you have to kill the bull, and you have to do of course you have to create something, you have to express yourself with the gestures, and you have to create an art.
But is it the actual violence, or is it the way the violence is shot? Because I assume when they saw the film, they didn't expect to see something that was framed like this, which was very close.
They never saw it like this.
And they think they like a big portrait of an arena with the audience.
Yeah, with the audience, and I don't know. I guess they expected something more conventional, or also I don't know. They expected something more, that it was more successful, you know, that he was like a hero. He's already like a hero from my point of view. But it's a little bit, you know. But also, we were lucky because the corridas we shot, he's never successful. By chance, you know, he's a little bit successful, but it's always tricky, it's always difficult. The toros are difficult. You know, he has more problems than solutions. So, you know, and I like that. Somehow, and it's the essence of corrida and the repetition and waiting for the magic, you know, arriving or appearing one day. And this is what you see in a corrida. And I wanted to reproduce the structure of a real corrida. There are 6 bulls, and there is one, and another one, and another one, and another one, and it's the same. You know, there are 3 toreros, 2 bulls each, and you repeat, and you are waiting for something happening, you know, the real magic. And here it's a little bit the same. Of course, there is the dramatic aspect of it, that he's bounded, and he can be bounded, and he can be even dead. The other day was, you know, about to die, you know, 15 days ago in Madrid. So, I don't know, or there in the film, in Santander, you know, it's a miracle that goes in that both sides, you know, and also that the barrier, you know, the fence behind, it's doing like, you know, that he cannot really destroy him because of the force, just of the force of the head. I don't know. But for me was the commitment, you know. There was something mysterious in the commitment because it's a symbolic act. It's a symbolic act, you know. Of course you are killing animals, but then, okay, it's animals, it's not people. I mean, but, you know, they take it very seriously. And it's not a joke, and I mean, and it's a symbolic thing that more we shoot, more we get into admiring him or admiring them. The more we, or I don't know if understanding, but admiring.
Because you never had any discussions at all with him about anything?
No.
Why not? It wasn't important to you?
It will be useless. Why? To discuss what?
I don't know, curious. There's no, I mean, you don't get a sense of his background. No. We don't even know in the film, I think, that he's from Peru.
No,
or
the idea
what
is
class he's from. I mean, there's details that
It's
in a
the
normal documentary you would be given, let's say, and this one you aren't.
no, it's a camera that has to reveal. You know, if you do a documentary, from my modest point of view, it's the camera. You put the camera that has to show something that the eyes cannot see, or reveal something, or give an angle or a perspective that you cannot have before. Or you can, if you are so intelligent, why don't you write a book about it? Or So it's if you use the camera, it's because the camera will show something that it cannot be seen in any other way. And this was the goal here. So talking to him was totally unnecessary. Of course, at the beginning, I convinced him. And convinced him was a very brief conversation. But then one day, in the middle of the shooting, we had a very brief lunch also, very silent and brief, but with trying to convince him with the microphones, and because he was complaining that the microphones was, well, he didn't like the microphones on him. What was completely irrational, because the others didn't complain, and it was the same system. So it was something that he didn't want to be, recorded, and a little more paranoia than anything else, not a physical thing. But okay, I tried to convince, because it was very important, the sound, and somehow he agreed, but always reluctant, always, putting difficulties. But okay, I don't know. And this was the main. At the end, they didn't like the film, or he didn't like the film, and I don't know. But it's I think that a good documentary, from, I would say, aesthetic point of view, the people that it's in has to hate it. Because if not, what have you been doing? No, really. And, and also the people that it's against the corrida, of course, hate the film, because it shows, of course it shows the violence, but it shows also some kind of, I don't know, serious commitment. This was the most impressive thing. And they don't, so I think that if you make a documentary, nobody has to like it. Only cinema people that don't care about the subject, like you, like people here. But no, truly, how can you make a documentary on Donald Trump? The best documentary on Donald Trump is that if the people that like Donald Trump hate the documentary, and the people that hate him also hate the documentary. So it means that you have made a good documentary about him. This is the proof. There is no other. If not, what are you doing? You are, I don't know.
But you must have entered the making of the film with some idea with some preconceived notion of what bullfighting meant to you, or not? And did something change in the course of the making of the film?
No, it is. I was favorable at 54%, and now I am favorable at 57%. So nothing changed, essentially. Because, because I don't know. I think that, is that if you ask me, do you prefer a wall where this exists or this doesn't exist? A wall nowadays in 2024, I would answer, I prefer 57% a wall where this exists. Because it's hypocrisy, all the rest. So even this is a ritual, and it's a little ritual, but it's not hypocrisy. So it's them who try to make it a little bit more hypocritical, trying to hide the violence,
But it's also because it is some connection to history, some connection to Spanish history. You made like 3 or 4 films that are, most of the films, except for Past Fiction, involve in historical films. So, this is a ritual which connects to, it existed for a long time, for the past. Yes,
it's something I like. I don't say it very often, but it's about fanatism. And, this specific part of the character of a Spanish, culture, fanatism, I like it, And is the last, here we have the last example, last real strong example of something that today it looks like outdated. It's not outdated in reality, because we see wars, and this is the hypocrisy. But here it's just a ritual. It's not that, it's not that important. Because I said the other day in the Q&A, we see Ukrainian war, it's 700,000 people dead, from both sides. 700,000, they say, or 600 or 800 people say. 800,000. And these people they will not have resurrection. I mean, and you see here, and you do, a speech on the European Union, and I don't know who saying this or that, but these people are on the battlefield, like him. It's the only way to, the only way to win a war is to be in the battlefield and win, or at least not to lose. And I am not talking about, which side or the other side, just the fact of a war and a battlefield. So I think that this is a good, corrida, it's teaching us the life cycle of death and life, and that there are no shortcuts. And nowadays that everything is on communication, or on, this idea that, you can solve the problem on communication, image. Here, no, you cannot solve this problem in front of the bull with communication. And also, there is something very cinematographic linked with that is that to be there, you need a lot of calm. Because all the work of these people to survive is to be calm, not overreact. Because you have to study every bull, how the bull is, if it's a good, bad, and very, very, very calm. Everything. Of course, there is the pressure and the excitation, and it's inevitably to be very, very tense. But at the same time, you have to try to keep calm. So this lesson of not overreacting, not having any, overreact, don't have a fast opinion or a fast reaction about, And this was cinematographic, and these all toreros have it. And this, the first day I was in the conversation with him, when he accepted to do, I saw it, because they incorporate this, all the toreros, this calm that they have in the arena in quotidian life. So they are never like this, and it's like
not checking the internet all the time.
No.
It's very focused.
They are concentrated. No. He has the mobile phone. I never saw him checking the mobile phone. He looks like this. That is like I don't know what. But I never saw him with the mobile phone or anything. So, they are there, and this gives some kind of peace on the face. What you see here, this mystery, it's almost mystical, angelic, that it's from angels. And it's always, and this I like it. I thought it will be cinematographic by itself. And
just his face.
Yes, the calm, the not overreacting, not the, all the films, 99.9% of the films you can see in cinema and on platforms especially, they are about overreacting. About when crispado, ¿cómo sería crispado in English? Tense, no? When you are, that, and everything is about, a dialogue, there is a, action, reaction, there is a tension. Here, no, they are not tension. And they do violent, ultra-violent things. Of course, there is tension because they don't want to be killed. And there is interior tension. But there is not this kind. I don't know, I like it. I like the atmosphere, the visual and the plastic atmosphere of what was going on in front of the camera.
Why do you decide to shoot it like that? Like such a tight frame and only concentrate and focus like that? Was that something that you came... Intimacy.
I like it. I don't know, you never see it. We had the microphones. We can show, a part of reality that it's not shown usually. And I like to use the bull as a subject. Just from the very beginning, when he looks at the camera, you never have this perspective. Usually, when you see bullfighting, the bull is like an object. It's part of the game, that it's moving, and, it's there. But when the bull, several times during the film, looks at the camera, that it looks like, suddenly he's a subject. What is a strange perspective. And I like this. Then I don't, it doesn't go that far. I don't give a shit about the bull. But I like the idea of watching not because you think that it's important or anything, no. But, I don't know, I like the idea that this intimacy and that he was a subject. This was important. I don't know, it gives poetry, nothing else. No moral, no ethics, but poetry, yes. And I don't know, it's... I like when there is rain, For example, he hates the scene when it's raining, the torero. And everybody said, but it's a fucking visual moment. What are you talking about? But, I don't know, he hated it because, I don't know, everything looks... Of course, he was more obsessed of his performance as a torero and not the film as an artistic form. No, he was looking at himself and seeing, his faults or, I don't know, details of his performance as a bullfighter, not even as an actor. But, okay, I don't know. It's interesting, these people.
Okay, I have a question over there.
Buonanit, Albert. I have a question. What's the role of the women in the Roca Race universe?
I don't know. I never saw any. Well, at the end, once he came with somebody, but I don't know, it's family related. I don't know. Sincerely, we were always, because we were only shooting. This was also, from the beginning, I had this idea. We will only shoot. I don't give a shit about people, when they are not there as a heroes. Of course, everybody, people want to see him in quotidian life. All heroes in quotidian life are normal people. All of them, they have, I don't know, or wife or kids or, or a house or a driver, or they go to restaurants. This is similar to everybody. So I was not interested in this part of him, that it's, similar to everybody else. And so I don't know. And I like this because, sincerely, it's some kind of male brotherhood, very particular and strange. Somehow, because on the form, because you know that bullfighting, it's also, there is a very, a feminine part. In the costume, in the movement, if you know Spanish, in the dialogues, que le dice mi hijo mío, no sé qué, alma mía. Very, very sweet and on the edge of something that can, but you see it's not like that, but it's part of, it's like sailors in a boat, that spend 3 months there. Okay, probably not everybody's gay there, but, I don't know, you stay there, it doesn't mean that, but some kind of, solidarity or some kind of tenderness, and especially here that it's much more, or in war, we were talking about war. And I like, it's ambiguous. It's not ambiguous because it's not ambiguous in this sense, but there is a contrast, there is a paradox of this super, the bollocks, all the time, the balls, all the time, you are the biggest balls, the balls, the balls, the balls. And then, if you are a Spanish and you understand the dialogues in Spanish, there is humor on that. Not in the way they say it because it comes from fanatism and the pressure, but as a viewer in Spanish, at the end it's humor, it's irony. It's so crazy and repeated that, it gives you a... But women, I don't know, there is no part of it. I had an idea that it's... Because there has been a tradition, especially in French literature, linking, sexuality and, sexual desire and bullfighting, especially with women. Georges Bataille and other writers. And the other one, Ladies, Michel Ladies, So has been this tradition. And I wanted to put, I don't know, some women on the background, with the eyes like they're looking at this hero that you don't know what exactly represents, that to put a little bit. But I didn't have time. We have enough problems to solve to try to shoot that.
But the audience is mixed gender-wise.
Yeah, it's mixed. It's fascinating because there is a lot of women and young people, and for me this was also surprising that there were so many. It was very diverse, but surprising.
But there are no female bullfighters.
No. There was some tries, but never was, but never important or never. It was more, an anecdote, we could say.
Anyone else?
Not, I don't care. This is if we have to be rigorous of what it was.
Okay, so what is here? Yeah. There is being transmitted a lot of the admiration for the bullfighter and for all this in also your enthusiastic talking, I felt. And I was just wondering if you could also feel this kind of narcissistic solitude in the bullfighter.
Yes. This, for me, this was one of the main subjects of the film when we were editing. But it's an abstract subject, almost, the narcissism, you know, but it's there. And in fact, the bull is a mirror, you know, this idea that, the idea of always trying to win and finally always winning, it's a narcissist act, and seeing, you know, on your days like the mirror, you know, that the bull is looking at you and you end up winning, you know. Not for sure, but nowadays it's a little bit less risky than in the past, but just because the clinics in the arena are better. You know, it's the only reason. No, before people died because, you know, they were, you know, wounded and all the blood go away. There were no blood there in the arena. They had to go to a hospital. Maybe the hospital was 30 kilometers in the 50s. All the big toreros, or almost all, died on the arena. All the big names, the big ones, the myths. Because there was no possibility. Nowadays, of course, they have very good clinics now, Unity, you know, with blood, extra blood, all types, and a good surgeon, a good doctor, you know, ready there. So it means that the risk of really, really dying, it's less probable. It can happen, and it happened, you know, I will not say every year, but every 2 years, there is people dying. But
do you think that makes him more engaging, not worrying so much about dying? I mean, at certain parts of the film, you see him injured, and he was injured very badly a few weeks ago.
Yes.
But do you think that the comfort of having this apparatus here, which was not there 50 years ago, makes the torero more adventurous?
I don't know. We should ask him. Of course, it gives you a little bit of extra safety. But I don't know. I don't think that, you know, because the other ones don't do it, you know. There is a huge difference between the courage, no? How do you say courage in English?
Courage.
The courage of one torero compared to another one. For the reason everybody should be safe.
And he's the most courageous that you've
Yes. What? It's important, but it's not I mean, it's very, very important because this allows you to, you know, because the magic of the torero is that he's as static as possible, you know, moving as less as possible, and, you know, dominating the toro with as little movements as possible and always as close as possible, like if he was a little inoffensive dog, no, not dangerous little dog. And for the reason, so courage, no, it's very important because the more, the more you have, the more you will allow him to get closer. But then, okay, you need the grace of the movements, you need the talent, you need a lot of things. But of course, it's impressive. And from cinematographic point of view, it's even more impressive than the art or the expression of the movements in itself. Yes?
What made you choose the title?
Well, I don't know. He looked quite solitary person. He looked really lonely. And then we saw that, okay, them as a group are lonely, no? Because they live in a bubble. And for the reason also we like the idea of eliminate the audience. Because in the arena you barely don't see the audience. You hear a little bit, but you are always inside the arena, and it's another bubble. There is the band, the room, and also the arena. So, and also the loneliness of the toro, why not? The bull, loneliness of the bull. You know, so I don't know. Was a very melancholic activity. There was something melancholic that it was cut because of the violence and the energy, but I mean, it's a strange balance.
There's someone else? I can't see anything. Yeah, there's something.
I was wondering, as you pointed out, your protagonist wasn't technically perfect as a torero most of the time, and we hear a voice from the off giving him advice. He keeps telling, be slower, keep your hand lower. And then I sense that there's a moment where he's really technically brilliant. I think it's in Sevilla, where he really does everything by the textbook. He's slow, he keeps his right hand low, and you do not show that. I mean, we sense that that happens, and instead of showing that, you show his face and the bull's back, and I was wondering whether that was intentional, whether you wanted to deny this aesthetical quality to the bullfight, or
it's a difficult question to answer. It's a difficult question to answer because we had several cameras, so we had all kinds of shots, as you can imagine, all kinds of perspective. But I don't know, all the images that show a little bit this more clearly, from cinematographic point of view, were less intense, were more academic, more conventional. You have, this was on platform the same day. You have it there. You know, the same day we shoot, there were the platforms, the TV, and they were showing streaming live on, so you have it there. You know, you can go there and watch it. So here, I don't know, we were looking for something else, and I don't know, it's difficult. They complain a little bit about that. But the film will be worse. It's like putting out the violence, or reducing the violence. The film will be worse. The film will be more anecdotic. It's the violence what makes the transcendence of it. And they didn't like it because they thought that they will, you know, it will give a bad image of corrida. They didn't like. But what I have to do, you know, it's like asking a boxer that, you know, to box, to live, you know, to let himself loose. You know, you cannot make a worse film consciously. But of course, it's the moral dilemma I was talking before, because the film will not exist without their extreme generosity, because they allow us everything. They didn't care. You know, and I mean, they were extremely generous. And nice people, from human point of view, even if they look a caricature, you know, especially the assistants, they are not. They are extremely genuine and authentic, and from human point of view, you know, serious people. But what I have to do just to please them, make a worse film? I don't know. Maybe you have to think a little bit, even them, a little bit more long term, no? Maybe something that now looks like a little bit not so nice for them, maybe with time, it will look brighter, no? And it will look more interesting and more wonderful. But if you want this image, you can check it on the platform.
1 second.
After you showed them the film, because it's Catalonia is like very controversial about bullfighting, and when you asked them to do it, they said no, and then you did it. What did they say with the result? Were they happy?
What do you mean, Catalonia?
Well, didn't you say that you went to university?
Fabrica.
No, they said no problem. Yes.
Did they see the film?
Yeah?
No, they saw the film?
Yes,
and they said no
everybody
problem.
likes the film, no problem. There is also the funding of Catalonia and the TV, the Catalan TV. So
okay.
I don't know. If it comes from me at the end, they want a good film, or they want something that, you know, they already know that it is subject. It will be surprising that it's not controversial. So when you decide that you will do this, of course there will be people against. But you cannot, you know, stop doing it just because there will be people against. For the reason you will never do anything. I mean, but I don't know. It's not. It has been less controversial than expected. Because it's a cinema film. It's a formal thing, and as I said, the girl at the beginning, you corrupted me. You know, it's a film. It's not about the sociological problem or more, I don't know, whatever you want to think. If you don't like it, don't go. I mean, I don't know. I don't have any problem with that. I said 57%. It's not that much, and it was 53 before. So I am not a fanatic.
No. But when I saw Catalonia, everything sponsoring, I thought maybe the purpose was that people see how cruel and how it could be to get like a negative image. That was my fear in the beginning, but it was not like that, the film.
But for me, it's not negative.
No,
I'm sorry.
No.
Because all the shots, all the close-ups of the toro dying, for me, they are very beautiful. And I don't have any problem with that. Zero problem. I had some others that were a little bit more, the toro vomiting blood, liters and liters of blood, and this, and it was more slaughterhouse. I don't know. It looked like more dubious. But here, it's very poetic. And I like it because, it's this idea of death and life. And when you see that, it's a slow. Because the toro, it's not conscious that he will die. The toro, it's not the bull. It's not conscious that he will die. The bull, it's not conscious that death exists. It doesn't know anything about death or life or anything.
And it also keeps fighting too. It doesn't
Yes, and
never.
keep
If it's
fighting.
hurt, normally an animal when it's hurt would go down, but the bull keeps.
It's
persisting.
The fate of the bull is this one. It's the only animal on earth that keeps on fighting even you punish him.
Yeah.
All the lion, if you punish him 2 or 3 times, will go away, and all the animals on the earth. This is not. But these close-ups of dying, somehow I like it. Everybody likes it, in fact. I mean, on the edit room, or the people that before finishing the edit, I show it. That everybody was convinced that this was part of the thing. And it's poetic because it goes slowly. And you see how life really escapes to him, how life abandons the bull. But slowly, gradually. You see what is life and what is death, and usually a human being is self-conscious of what death is and what is life, and this is distorted by this self-consciousness. But there, no. It's just a physical ending, and it goes slowly and beautifully. Yeah. Well, yeah. Too far away. But for the reason we have digital cameras, we have digital edit, and we have digital sound nowadays. In fact, if I decided to do the film, is because I thought, if it's not me now, nobody will do it. Because it's a little bit declining. Of course, you cannot say high boys because they don't want to hear that. But the society, it looks like Western society that it's going maybe in a direction that it's not exactly the same, direction that the values of the bullfighting. It looks like. We don't know what will happen in the future, maybe change. But now it looks like that, okay, it's a little bit declining, or, a little bit, I don't want to say the beginning of the end. I don't want to say that because I like and I respect them. But I don't know. This is a sociological trend. It's not my fault. But for this reason, if I didn't do it myself, at this moment, with the digital, I am an expert of digital edit. I am the only one that more or less had enough knowledge of corrida, or was enough orientated inside to know what he was doing, what I was doing. And with the digital technology, the combination of 3 facts, that if it's now or it was now or never.
I just wonder why they had no respect for the animals. They cursed them, and usually if you have this kind of ritualized killing or whatever, so there would be some respect for your opponent, yeah. But they had no respect for the bulls.
They have.
No, they had no. They cursed them, and they said that they're so.
Yeah. They have, because usually, what the problem of bullfighting is that when the toro is not noble, as they qualify it, it's not noble or bravo, it means that it's a difficult toro that doesn't allow you to express, doesn't allow you to create this extreme harmony and communication with him. Of course, with the bull. Of course, the end, we all know the end. This is the part of not being Cirque du Soleil and being corrida. But for all the rest, there is a huge difference between one toro that has not this nobility and the toro that is real noble in the fight. So they are very, very, how to say, a little bit crazy and not very, I would say respectful they are, but of course, it's like an enemy. If you are in the battlefield and you have to fight against, I don't know, Romanians or your neighbors, who do you want to die? You or the other ones? Will you have a lot of respect for them? Which kind of respect? Yes, you can have all the respect of the world, but once you are there, you want to survive or you have to kill them. And you know, that's, I don't know, I'm sorry. For the reason, the ritual of corrida, it's beautiful in this sense, or is symbolic, because you are there and there are no shortcuts, there are no hypocrisies. You know, you have to win, of course you respect and you like them, and if this, you know, and if you are not there, you will be friends. But once you are there in the battlefield, you know, it's you or them. So, but I think that they are very, and in fact, for example, in corrida, when the toro is very good, very, very good, he is not killed. The president allows, it happens rarely because it has to be extremely good, but the president of the arena saves the life of the toro and allows him to survive. But it's extremely rare, but it has to be very, you know, well, it's ritual, it looks like very primitive and very, how to say, atavic, no? But it's what it is. And for the reason, you know, it is this and this is what it is. And you can, I mean, if people don't like it, I don't care. 53%, you go on votation and out. But you cannot change it. And you cannot dismiss it in something that they don't care. I mean, it's not. This is this, and that's all. You know, it's like saying everybody that is in a war, they are all, you know, motherfuckers. Well, I don't know. People were sent to war when were soldiers. I don't know. The country sent you to war, and all that are fighting in a war are motherfuckers.
But this guy chose to do this by himself, though.
Huh?
This guy chose to do this by himself.
Well, but for the reason it's an animal.
For a personal reason. There's obviously some glory involved. There's some celebrity quality to it. He gains something from being a torero. I guess there's wealth. I don't know.
Why don't everybody does it then? If it's so advantageous, I don't know.
There aren't that many toreros.
To start doing it, everybody, for the glory, for the no.
Yeah, some people want to be actors. Some people want to be toreros. Some people want to be filmmakers.
Yes. But I mean, I think that, there is some kind of, what I said, commitment that it's enough specific to understand that involves more a spiritual approach. That it's not just, you know, having a job, you know, where you can, have money or whatever. There is something else. Don't ask me, because I don't understand it in the deep way, why they do it. And I said it at the beginning. I still don't understand him, because he comes from a rich family, from a wealthy family. So I really don't. He's already rich. He was already rich. So I still don't understand it. Well, maybe this is the mystery of what we saw. I don't know. Sincerely, I think the film is good because I am fascinated by the images, and that's all. But what is the real reason and the content behind? I still don't know, sincerely.
Yes, thank you. I actually agree with your what just has been said, because I think there are no good and bad bulls. What do you expect from an animal that senses that it's in big danger and is about to die? So I don't know why you are admiring a bullfighter when you know that he is in clear advantage and that they are harming this animal so that it dies. And I also, because you were mentioning, questioning what is the purpose of it, I think what we could see from the shots clearly is that he gets a sense of rush from killing. This adrenaline can be seen when he's shaking. And I think that comes because it pushes his ego to a certain point, and he is admired and almost portrayed godlike, just because he kills an animal, even though he is in clear advantage because they are hurting it before he even gets to the final point of killing it.
Sincerely, I don't think so. And I know them, and I've been following them, and the moment they hate more, that it's dangerous, that it's difficult, that they don't want to know, they don't want to do. If they couldn't, they would escape and they will go away. It will be the moment of killing. So if they do it, it's really because it's part of the tradition.
But do you think this is a good tradition? Because you also said, what can we change about it? I mean, we could change that by stopping having this ritual and these and organizing these fights.
Yeah, but this is not the subject of the film. The subject of the film, this is already exist. So I shoot something that it's already exist. I just shoot it.
That's why you have no moral problem with the film.
Yes,
because
I have no moral
you're just
problem.
filming
It's not
something
me
that
who has
exists.
to decide this. It's you go to on votation or on the parliament or on referendum. I don't know. In Catalonia they forbidden. There is no problem. It's not my problem now. I mean, with this film, as a citizen, I could have my opinion, and I already said what was my opinion as a citizen, 57%. Then we can discuss about my opinion as a citizen. But as a filmmaker, I mean, for me, it's not a problem. This, I mean, it's like, well, if you go to war, there will be journalists or doctors or everybody will have to stop war, but the war will not stop. Well, you can try, go there, and you will see what happens.
I mean, I agree with just shooting the shots, the scenes as they are, and I really enjoyed that, but I was hoping that it came with moral or some message, and I actually looked at it from another perspective, which is actually not showing the good, brave bullfighter, but actually kind of a mental ill person, because the fact that
it's the same person. You can read it as you want.
Yes.
I didn't, and there is no direction of actors, and there is no post-production effect. So the person that you see here, you can read it as a hero, or you can read it as a ill mental. What you said. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, what is the beautiful thing of the film is that I just put images, and it's the camera who is, revealing things, and I think that on the edit, I try to put it as equilibrated as possible. Really showing, all the elements that I thought that were important, and in a quite or as coherent and as equilibrated as I could. But I don't know. I don't have any point of view. The images, the images are ambiguous by definition. Who is good? Who is bad? If you just make a close-up of a person, of the face of a person, how do you know if he's good or bad person? How do you know it? You need a lot of intuition to know that. You do a documentary, and you are there, with the politicians, and you don't know anything, any subject. You don't know what they are discussing, but once they are discussing about war or about, I don't know, stealing all the money of the population and buy houses for themselves or palace, you put the close-up of the face, how do you know who is good or bad? And this is the richness of cinema. Of course, then you can develop this a little bit more. But this origin has to be there, because it's what creates the mystery. What creates the mystery, or what creates, I don't know, the illusion that, life, it's not written language and it's not a code. It's a, I don't know, it's something that expands physically and spiritually, and it's difficult to, make a definition. And with time, it changes. Some people that it's good people, maybe, 10 seconds later can make a bad gesture, or a good, or can be the opposite thing. Another question?
What was the most surprising thing for you?
Well, this thing of the commitment, for me, I don't know, I'm sorry, but it's what it is. They were very serious, and they were very focused, and they really believe in this. It's not, and this, we learn about that. I mean, I was the only one in the crew that attended corrida before. Nobody, no cameraman, sound. Well, one of the sound went for a shooting in a corrida before. But nobody, never of the, 8 people, the core people we were shooting, never attended the corrida before. And, okay, we were quite interested, and we were, I don't know. We were, it's serious, they don't stop, they don't, it's constant. They are constant. They are serious. They take it seriously. This was what surprised me, because I thought, of course, in the big arenas, in the big stadiums, in the the other ones, it's a little bit easier, and sometimes, but in the big ones, it's not. Yeah, it's what it is what you see here.
There's a microphone.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for the great film. At the beginning of the talk, you said something like the intensity or the pressure on the actor creates like intensity in the image. And this is the first time you did a documentary film. So I was wondering, like, what are the methodology that you put pressure onto the actors when you do a fiction?
So it will be a long answer. It will be almost a masterclass. I don't know. The idea is that, of course, the camera puts pressure. The idea that you are there and you are obliged to do something interesting. And that, like him, nobody can help you. You know, and you are the actor, and it doesn't matter if the filmmaker talks to you or it doesn't talk to you. Or it doesn't matter if the filmmaker is, a good person or a bad person. You have a problem to solve, that it's your problem, and you are alone in this problem like him. And this problem is that you have to do something interesting. And you have to do it in a continuous way to make a coherent film and a coherent character, and this is your duty. And you have to feel this duty. That's all. Of course, the bigger is the pressure psychologically on the actor of that duty, the more intense everything will be. From my modest point of view, maybe it can be other methodologies. Of course, this is linked the way I shoot with the 3 cameras, long takes. That this is not the subject of the conversation today, but it's coherent with that. But I think it will surprise me. It will surprise me a lot that there is a beautiful image at the end in Seville, where there is a guy, when they finish, not the last corrida, the one before, when there is one guy that it looks at him with a smile. Have you seen this shot? That with an admiration puts the head like this, and he looks at him, with a... It's impossible that any kind of actor can reproduce this. Even you have to be extremely under pressure to do this. Such under pressure that you can, you have almost to believe that this is true. You have to believe it. I mean, if not. So, and everything is the same. Then here, I was lucky because the corrida is artificial by itself. Why the film escapes to documentary? Because it's almost a representation in itself, it's almost a fiction, the costumes, the Baroque images, the blood, the aesthetics of the toro, all the things, the van that is like a spaceship, we put some kind of lights that look like a spaceship, so the music, the sound, the strange sounds, everything is artificial in itself, something coming from reality, and some a little bit manipulated, and we add content artificial. So this is what create that. Something that under this pressure that, it's very realistic and organic and extremely, you don't dub one single second of what's going on there. That it's for real. But at the same time, it's an artificial tale. It's a ritual, or it's a representation, or it's whatever you want. And with, flamboyant costumes and with flamboyant sentence, dialogues, poetic dialogues. There is one moment, my favorite moment of the film, probably, it's when at the beginning of the first corrida, he goes there, you have to understand Spanish, I don't know the translation here, but he says, la vida no vale nada, la vida no vale nada. That is, life worth nothing. But he says in the sense that, you have to risk your life, you have to throw away your life, you have to, you have to really, risk your life, to use your life to do something important. And we come back to this idea of the bull. The conservation of life, in itself, it's nothing. You have to use life to do something with it. And in this case, they said you have to do something that is this. Like fight against the toro, dominate with this art, with this beauty. This life is nothing in itself. You have to, So don't talk about the after. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, when it's done, cuando al final de la corrida se lo dice, cuando... Sí. No, para explicarlo. And then he adds, this is the price. The price, not the price of you receive a price, the price of the price you have to pay. You know, to do this. The price is that it's risky and that you can die, you know, and this is the price.
I don't agree. I think they say that it's the price of the bull. The price the bull.
It's ambiguous. It's ambiguous. I didn't know. In fact, if I tell you the truth, he doesn't say, ese es el precio. He said, eso es el desprecio. No? He said that, okay? But all the edit, who were listening by mistake, because then, you know, these people speak in Andaluz, south of Spain, it's very difficult to understand. So he said, this is the dismissing, or this is the price. This is the true translation. And we get used to, ese es el precio, this is the price. The price you pay, maybe it can be for the bull, or maybe it can be for him, I don't know, or both. But then when we did the ADR, because this sentence was very noisy with the thing and it was not clean, and we did the ADR, and I asked him, what did you say? This is the dismissing, or this is the price? And he said, I don't know. You know, what do you prefer? I asked him, what do you prefer? Ese es el precio. Let's do ese es el precio. So at the end, but in the original he said, ese es el desprecio. Pero imposible de distinguir, o muy difícil. Lo distinguimos al final cuando ya limpiamos el sonido, antes de hacer los ADRs, cuando ya hacemos la mezcla de sonido, antes de hacer la mezcla de sonido, pero montaje. When we were doing the edit at the very end of the process and before doing the ADR. So this is the price of el precio o el desprecio? Both are nice.
There's somebody at the back there, or no? One last question? Okay, one last question.
I just wonder about this glorification of violence. I mean, if you show violence, and it is violent, but what you just said, any terrorist could say it. You know, life is what is life. I have to put my life in for something that makes purpose, yeah? So I really think this is a dangerous view on violence, yeah? You can show it, but to glorify it in that way, I think it's very dangerous, yeah? And in times where you can see violence is all over, and people think they need to kill, they need to put their life into for something. Yeah.
Have you seen any Hollywood film?
Yeah, but this
recently?
is not Hollywood. This is not Hollywood. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is real. This is real. They are killing the bulls, you know. And this is a hero. And you say this is a good guy because he says I have to put my life for something that is meaningful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what any terrorist would say. That going in the street, killing people with his knife. That's what he say.
So
I need purpose. Purpose for my life is killing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the ultimate thing.
So
you're glorifying it. Yeah, in a sense. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's okay. It's good to know that. It's good to know that there are no any circumstances in life where killing is necessary. We will know next time. And where shooting when is killing is necessary, we will know for. Yeah, no, I don't know. I told you 700,000. You know, 700,000 there. 700,000. Hello, 700,000. You seated here talking about violence. Talking. He is not talking. He is doing it. Yeah. Okay.